Hi everyone.
Oh, welcome to another actual play campaign session of Manifest the RPG, episode 10 this time around. Things might get real this time. But before we start, I know I have one quick announcement. Moments before the stream began, uh, Dan Barron's computer, his desktop, just completely just like died. So Dan is joining us via a very old laptop that was good one day long ago, but is now just a little old. So one thing we've noticed in our preliminary like tests before the stream is that Dan's video is very delayed. His transmission isn't, but his video is way behind. So that's just something we're gonna have to live with for this session. But it's a thing we plan on fixing before next week. So we didn't want to skip another week because we were off last week because holiday stuff kind of scattered us to the wind and we weren't all available. So we're going through. We're soldiering through with a slightly delayed Dan Barron video. So any facial expressions, you'll have to wait like a few seconds.
I think it should probably give me a really high bonus to dodge, and enemies a really high penalty because they can't see what I'm doing.
Yeah, because you're up to speed, but your video isn't. That's good. Yeah, an after image bonus. Addie, do you have any announcements before we jump into the recap?
Yeah, so this is every other week. So GM Styles is on Friday with me, Adia, your favorite Adia. I have been working very hard to bring some cool GMs to hang out with me, and I think if everything goes according to plan, I will have my first guest. So fingers crossed on that. I'm really excited. And also, this week's topic is a doozy. So you should tune in and watch. GM Styles.
All right. I don't think we have any other announcements. Yeah, I think we've streamed since the last Kickstarter update. So if you missed the announcements during last stream, there's some cool Kickstarter updates with some cool art. You should go check them out. Otherwise, I think it's time to jump into the recap. I know it's been we had a week off, so excuse me if I'm a little rusty on some of it. Kinsey, Pax, and Roland have found themselves beholden to a murderous gang known as the Dead Man's Gang. They don't want to be a part of this gang at all, but they also don't want to be looking over their shoulders for the rest of their lives if they screw this gang over, or run away. So they've been, over the course of 10 episodes, working their way through a plot to tear the Dead Man's Gang apart, both within and without. So far, they have succeeded in killing one of the 8 members of the Dead Man's Gang, Miguel Reyes. He was very badly wounded by a marshal that they kind of set on him, and he barely got out alive. And they managed to finish him off and make it seem like he just succumbed to his wounds. They have arrived in the town of Lily Ridge, which is a town that appears to be effectively owned by a branch of the crime syndicate known as the Family. The Gatii family seems to own this town. They have it on lockdown. The people in the town, they really love it. Crime is down, and they get a lot of money put back into the town, and everyone just loves the Gatii family, and they're all willing to look the other way while the Gatii family does crime. But these 3 drifters managed to find a hidden path into the Gatii Estate, as they are currently tasked by the Dead Man's Gang to track down some weapons that the Gatii family stole from the Dead Man's Gang's usual supplier. However, not to do anything half measured, this group of drifters, they made a deal with the Gatii family. They told the Gatii family where the Dead Man's Gang was going to be entering from, and they made a deal to basically provide the Gatii family with information while also serving up members of the Dead Man's Gang on a silver platter for a Gatii family ambush in the tunnels below their grounds. So we'll see how that pans out in presumably this episode. The three of you just left the Gatii family estate after striking a deal with Akeo Gatii, and you have basically a little less than 24 hours before the estimated Dead Man Gang reinforcements arrive to assist you with this heist. Cho Saxton, a member of the Dead Man's Gang, is waiting in the saloon in her room, keeping a low profile while you operate in town. Is there anything else the three of you want to get into this day? You have basically most of this day ahead of you, and then reinforcements could arrive anywhere from mid-morning to early afternoon tomorrow. Anyone?
I don't think I have anything that I'm doing in particular. I have all the weapons and stuff that I need, I think. So yeah, I think I'm just around to aid if need be.
Okay. So Pax is planning on taking it easy. No plots there. What about you, Roland?
I'm gonna find like an alley, a quarter mile or so from the Gatii Estate, and just keep it together, and then throw up in said alley.
Fair enough.
And then when I'm done barfing, Kinsey, you mentioned wanting to like set a trap.
Thought it might be useful, just another added level to our, eventual betrayal of the Dead Man's Gang. If we can make it easy on those who are going to murder them for us, I might as well do that. So I think Kinsey's plan is to we are leading them to the tunnels that we decided on.
Yeah, we decided we were going to take them to the one entrance that we had found.
Sure.
And then they'd get killed there. So if you want to lay a trap, I can help, or we can be lookouts or whatever. I'm not a trap person. I don't really know. I don't know how physical traps. What's like the best way? I'm more of a verbal traps.
Mental traps, I suppose. Sure. Well, it's quite simple. I'll show you. And Kinsey's going to. I assume they know we're going to be around their traps, so nobody's going to try and shoot us for getting near the tunnels.
As far as you know, the tunnels aren't necessarily guarded, at least at the entrance.
Sure. So I say we go about midway down the tunnels, and as long as we have an area for our ambushes to kind of surpass the traps, as it were, it should be fairly easy to set something there. I think these jumping yucky scenes are burning a hole in my bag. I think I'd like to plant a bit of a minefield for our would-be friends.
So, as cool as that would be, first off, you're not sure the earthiness of the tunnels, which is one thing. But more importantly, they're not going to grow overnight to be ripe enough for them to go off, as it were. So they won't mature in time for when you are currently planning on moving on the Gatii Estate.
Sure.
I have probably definitely one question, maybe two, possibly more. First, how long would it take jumping yuckies to mature?
with like the proper treatment and everything, they take basically about like a week to like bloom.
Okay, so then my next question is, hey Gimsy, do you have full grit?
Great question. Perhaps. Yes, I've got full grit. I've got twice as much as full grit. So, what are we flashing back to? I suppose, yes, actually. How is there a way I can mature the seeds like on the go and have them have been preparing for this moment?
How many machinery cubes do you have?
I've got 4.
Okay, you could have 4 pots of jumping yuckies that you've been tending to this for the past week.
Just by spending those cubes on that grit? Well, it seems
well, I'm gonna need spending the cubes and the grit makes it so you have made potted plants and you have planted your jumping yucky seeds into those pots.
Perfect.
What I'm gonna need is a survival roll for you to have been safely handling these jumping yuckies in a a mobile like greenhouse.
Fair enough, sure. Would that have been in nature that I was doing that so that I can get a +1 to that?
I think you're bringing the nature with you, so I'm going to go ahead and let you have your.
I like that. I'd like to use that
talent bonuses for nature-based things.
Good. So that's a +3, including my survival kit. If that also applies.
Yeah, your survival kit absolutely necessary for the success of this plan.
Well, we'll trade out this die here. Let's see what we've got. What do you say? Well, that's 3 hits with a high of 7.
Okay. Yeah. So you actually have been safely. Oh no. I dropped my pen. Safely tending to this whole time. Like we flash back to all the previous scenes since you guys encountered the jumping yucky, and sure enough, basically as soon as Kinsey got the seeds, like on the way to Moorbank, he started he gathered earth together and kind of made little housings for them. And then while you guys were in Moorbank, he was tending to them that evening, and then he brought them onto the boat. He had a couple deckhands help him load them into the quarters. Your guys' quarters were extra crowded because right over there on the side of the table, just out of frame, was a line of jumping yuckies in slightly larger containers. And then as you guys were during the shootout, basically, he in what was the name of the town? Wilburton. During the shootout in Wilburton, he had kind of made a tall, hard shell mobile greenhouse on his back that he was kind of carting around on his back just in case. Because so you were able to load that into the back of the. Oh, I see. I'm lagging because my Skype is trying to update. No.
Oh no! Don't do that.
No. So you loaded it up into the back of the back of Cho's truck, kind of gently setting it down and making sure it was securely strapped before she hit the engine. And then for the past day and a half or so in Lily Ridge, you've grown there. Now they have kind of basically football sized, I guess, would be about a foot wide, and then about that shallow pots that they're in, because their seeds go wide to be kind of pressure sensitive. You think they're pretty close to mature. You're not 100% sure if they're all mature enough to go, but you think if you tend to them tonight, you might be able to, you add a little extra fertilizer, maybe a little extra. Just a little extra growth hormones in there to try and speed them up a little bit. you might be able to get them at least some of them, if not all 4 of them, totally ready for your trap.
Is it so? It's just 4 seeds worth.
Yeah, it's 4 seeds worth. You have 4 jumping yucky. You have 4 take away 4 seeds and add 4 adolescent jumping yucky into your inventory.
Perfect. You see, I told you. I tell you, the both of you complaining the entire way and making fun of me for taking care of these. I told you they'd come in handy. You just wait. It'll be one hell of a trap.
And of course, you spent your 4 grit to do this flashback, yes?
Yes, I did.
You know, at the time, I had so disagreed with your plan that I had completely blocked it from my mind. But now I can remember it as clear as day.
Great. I'd like to find a place to plant these within the tunnel. So hopefully, I guess the goal is to have the members of the family waiting for them, and then as they cross over, the jumping yucky will be sprung, and then the family will attack after they've been incapacitated.
Okay, so first thing is you are going to need to access the tunnels,
Sure.
which the entrance is in the kind of apartment building that Pax was investigating earlier. She identified the door that led to the tunnels. So it's just a matter of what exactly, like, are you guys just going straight there, or what method are you using to approach said tunnels?
What do you say we lay one of those verbal traps as well?
We could, but I sort of remember Pax leaving a door unlocked in the back way into said apartment building.
She did mention that, didn't she? Well, let's, I suppose, try and sneak around the back then.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's just this way. And I lead them the way
Sure.
that I left open.
See you there.
Sorry, I've been working on my sneaking.
Yeah, you're totally able to make your way to the back door that you basically broke the lock on, in order to access that hallway that the doors in. So you open up the door and you see again that very nice, tasteful hallway, like quaintly decorated. And there's all the doors, and they seem like they've been cleaned by some kind of cleaning crew. But there's one door that looks just a little tarnished, like it's they're specifically not supposed to interact with it at all. And so Pax, I suppose, leads the way to said door.
I do, yeah.
Okay, it is locked.
I open it.
Okay. You're going to need to roll skullduggery to unlock this lock.
I have dice.
Thought we had already surpassed this particular.
No, she only surpassed the back door that led into this hallway. She never actually interacted with this door.
Well, that's incredible.
She just identified it. But I guess she can't hear me, so I can't tell her about the modifiers. GM Styles this Friday. Let's just do a little plug here while Addie remembers that she has dice in this house that she can use.
Don't you just hate it when the ad pops up in the middle of what you're watching? God.
Right, yeah.
Like, at least wait for an appropriate commercial time,
Yeah,
right? Like, don't just break up the scene. Don't drop it in there.
Right. The 3 of you are just walking up to a door, and then all of a sudden commercial break happens. No good. All right, so this is a pretty heavy-duty lock. It's very subtle, but like you can immediately tell. It's like as you go to work on it with your auto picker, you're like, oh, this is a sophisticated lock. So you're going to be at a -5.
-5?
Yes.
Okay, that seems fine. So I have a auto picker. So of average quality.
So that gives you a reliability.
Then I have. I don't have any talents that go with this. No. All right. Which dice I pick matter. I have a limited supply today. I only have.
Yeah, dice jail. They have a reprieve from dice jail.
Yeah, I only have this many dice.
A necessity.
Did you roll your test?
Wait, I get more than that. Ugh, no. Well, I got 4. Oh wait, this one explodes. Okay, I got five successes.
Even with a -5?
Especially with the -5, because my highest is an 8.
That's okay. It's an unopposed test. So you move in on it. Kinsey and Roland, you kind of are like looking around, hoping that no one comes out of the apartments, and almost like it was a breeze, like Pax like takes one look at the lock and then like adjusts the setting on her auto picker and then like puts it in and just like click 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 and then like twists her wrist as she clicks it, and then you hear the door unlock and she just glides it right open.
Impressive.
What you would normally, judging by the spacing of all of these doors and the fact that all of them are labeled as apartments, including this door, you would expect it to open up into an apartment, but it does not, and it instead opens up into a staircase leading down.
That's good, because that's what we actually expected it to open up to. Yeah, we go down the stairs.
Seems like a good idea.
Okay.
Is it lit?
It does have dim lighting down the stairs, yes. And
I'll go first.
Okay. So you head down the stairs for a little bit. It levels out, and you are in basically kind of like the bottom. The floors are hardwood. They're like a little beaten. They don't look like like they've been finished in a very long time. The hallway itself is not short, but not like incredibly tall. It's just a couple feet above your head. Arched beams kind of supporting it. The light gets a little better as you get down to the leveled out area. And as you're walking, like the floorboards, they don't creak necessarily. They're kind of like they feel kind of soft. Kinsey, given your previous roll of 3 survival, I'm just going to give you like, you're pretty sure these are like wooden planks put on top of like earthy ground. Like there's not like concrete underneath these. And you make your way through. The tunnel winds for a little while, and you can tell like it's definitely, there's no offshoots. This tunnel just goes basically directly towards the Gatii Estate with a couple turns here and there. So it's not a straight line, but like in general, you can tell like the direction you're heading is towards the grounds of the Gatii Estate. And eventually it does actually get to like a T-junction, which is even better lit, which the wooden kind of floor panels continue, but that kind of like exposed arch like beams kind of give way to a little more well put together hallways with like actual like ceilings and walls that are a little bit taller, but the floorboards are still the same, though you can see basically this T section stays with that kind of floorboards for a little while, but at like the end of all of the tunnels you can see, like all of the hallways you can see, you do see it does eventually like level out into sort of like a concrete. I'd say about at this T section you have about 20 feet in either direction of that kind of wooden floor on top of earthy ground.
Do we think that these? I mean, I suppose we'd have to explore which one actually goes to the weaponry.
Yeah, you're not 100% sure which path is likely to be taken.
Well, we do know one path that's likely to be taken, which is the very long walk we went on to get to here.
Sure. Mostly I'm concerned about where the ambushes are going to be coming from, but I suppose here is as good a place as any.
Sure.
So I'd like to try and plant the jumping yucky just before the T section. I assume I'll have to pry up some floorboards.
Sure thing. So prying up the floorboards is pretty easy. Masking that you do it is a little harder.
Sure.
So let's go ahead and have a. So first off, I need a survival roll from you, Kinsey, to both successfully transplant these jumping yucky from the pots you have into the earth there, but also to like kind of use your survival kit and your like materials on hand to. Do you have a first aid cube?
Yes. No, I don't.
Do you have a tech cube?
I do. Yes.
Okay, I would let you expend a tech cube to kind of like put little like hydration like capsules in with them to keep them like with a bunch of nutritions and stuff to like keep them growing at full speed between now and when you bring the dead man's gang down here. But let's go ahead and roll survival to see if you can do it without like ruining any of them. They're very touchy plants.
Being underground as we are, does that count as being in nature?
No, these are man-made tunnels.
That is fine. That is just fine. I completely understand. That's well. Well.
I feel like you may be misreading how your In My Element talent works. That's just +2 reliability, not +2 to your skill.
Oh, actually, I think I just put +2.
Yeah, it's +2 reliability. So you basically get like 2 free uses of reliability for rerolls. If you like roll poorly, you can pick them up. It doesn't matter for this roll, but
for the previous roll, the numbers are so low that it wouldn't even matter. But for this one, I did get 4 successes.
Nice. Okay, yeah, you're able to do this. You're confident that these will all of these jumping yucky will reach maturity before you bring the dead man's gang down here. You do have to expend a tech cube to make that happen, though. And then also that they have been transplanted without you like damaging their roots in a way that would make them basically not like work. So where exactly are you planting these? Are you putting 4 of them in this narrow tunnel? You have you're at a crossroads, basically, like a straight up like plus sign. That you could do it in any ways. You could put them all in the intersection there. You could put them in the tunnel you just came from. You could put them further ahead. However you want to do it. What kind of arrangement are you trying to make here? As far as the size of this tunnel, wide. As you step out of the tunnel you came in from, that's about a 2-person wide tunnel. These other hallways, these nicer hallways, are about 4-person wide.
I see. We would probably want to be leading them into one of the nicer hallways, just that it seems to make sense that that's where the weaponry would be. So I'll plant 4 of them, I suppose, in a line underneath one of the nicer archways. To the right? Is the right one of those? From where we are? But...
Yeah. So basically the T section, there's a smaller hallway that you come from, and then the other 3 paths are 4-person wide. So you want to just trap up the hell out of the one to the right?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, cool. You do that. Easily.
Well, and covering it up isn't a problem?
So that one, basically anyone could roll machinery to try, or you could, like, it could be, I mean, Kinsey or Pax and Roland, I don't know what you guys are doing while you watch Kinsey kind of pry these floorboards up and like carefully plant this row of jumping yucky in the tunnel to your right. So far you don't see any like any movement or anything. You don't see like any family members like roaming around in this particular area. But like you see Kinsey like prying the floorboards, planting down. It takes him a little while. And then yeah, he's got a bunch of like wooden planks that he's got to try and like put back down on top of these jumping yucky. But like to do so would be a machinery test. Probably at a -4 because you got to be very ginger not to accidentally damage the jumping yucky below.
Sure.
I'm just going to keep watch since I literally cannot help.
Sure. I regret that I can help because of the proximity to the mines that this job requires. But I will help.
I do appreciate that, not putting all of the danger on my own head.
Okay, so Roland, you're going to roll machinery to assist Kinsey. Go ahead and let us know how many successes you rolled.
Just the one, unfortunately, but
that makes it a -4.
It is one.
Or wait, a -3 for you, Kinsey.
-3. Well, that's not bad at all. well. Yes, that's 3 successes, Kinsey.
Yeah, you're fairly confident again that all 4 of these jumping yucky remain undamaged as you put floorboards on top of them. You basically like kind of like shallow out an area for like the plant to sit in, and then you like work the roots upward so that like when someone steps on the floorboards, they'll trigger it. And you implant like your little like your slowly dissolving like hydration like nutrition like pods in there to like keep them tended to, and then you put the floorboards on top. And stepping back, you think like unless someone looks really closely, unless like if they're like watching their feet and trying to make sure there's no traps, maybe they'll spot that like these floorboards have been tampered with. But you're pretty confident. You like sweep up the dirt and you think like it's unlikely that anyone unfamiliar with this hallway will notice that something is amiss.
Well, if they follow Miguel's example, Jumpin' Yucky will be the dead man's gang's worst enemy.
Okay, so you've successfully planted 4 Jumpin' Yucky in the smuggling tunnels of the Gatii family. And you guys can make your way out, or if you want to explore the tunnels for some reason, you can do that. What happens next?
Hey, Kinsey?
Yes.
Do any of these like go in the direction that would go to like the indentured like housing?
Yeah, I think you've rolled well enough on survival up till now that I think you pretty much have your bearings down here, Kinsey. Not knowing what lies beyond. So basically these 3 other pathways of wooden floorboards, the right one of which you just filled with jumping yucky, they do end with kind of heavier looking doors, each one of them. And if you were like, you don't know what's beyond those doors. You don't know where they turn, what goes on. But if you were to say from the point that you're standing, the left path would be the one, if it kept going in that general direction, it would be the one that would lead towards the servants' quarters.
Right, if I had to guess, it'd be in this direction, I believe. Why do
you're muted, Addie?
This way, over here.
Right, to the left from where we are.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, got it. Not where you just planted the like deadly spring.
No, that's to the right.
Plant Nice. Okay. So and then there's a big metal door in the way to that thing.
Yeah, there are metal doors at the end of each of these hallways, except for the one you just came from, which is smaller and leads eventually to the apartment building.
Okay. Cool. Can I like Is there like is there like a break under the door or something?
No, there's kind of like a weird a 2 to 3 inch step up from the wooden planks onto like kind of a concrete foundation, and the door is like a security door. It looks like. It doesn't have it still looks like it's mechanically locked. It's not like super high tech stuff, but it's like a heavy door that like goes all the way to the floor.
I'm gonna. Is it locked?
It is.
What if it wasn't though?
You could attempt to unlock it if you'd like.
Okay.
So you guys watch as Pax makes her way down.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
You watch as Pax makes her way towards the door that Kinsey suggested the servants' quarters are likely to be, and she kind of goes up, examines the door, puts her ear against it, and then pulls out her auto picker.
And can I tell if this is like alarmed at all?
You can roll technology, machinery, or observe.
Blah. Okay. Is any one of those like provide any benefit over the others?
No, it's just the various ways in which you might check. It's like, technology would be looking like, using your knowledge of technology to spot like weird tech-based things. Machinery is, and I'm just going to kind of lump them all together.
Okay.
And then like if there was a trap and you picked the wrong one, observe would be the catch-all, right? Observe is the catch-all.
Sure.
And then tech or machinery, if you picked one or the other, then you might get different information.
Okay. Well, I will do observe. I'm just gonna take a look.
Sure.
Take a look.
Kinsey's going to lean over to Roland and say, I'm all for rash courses of action, but is this the best idea, do you think?
No, certainly not. No.
Well, I'm not going to try and stop her.
I mean, look at you. You can take someone in a fight. Now, look at me. And if you're not willing to try and stop her, I don't know why you think I would be.
All right.
Okay. Cool. I rolled three hits, an 8 high.
All right. So you examine this door. It doesn't seem like the door itself has any sort of traps. If there are any kind of sensors or anything, they're not on this side of the door.
Okay. Cool. I'm gonna unlock it. I'm gonna try to unlock it. Don't worry about it.
It is another very good lock, so you're gonna be at a -5.
Okay.
At least if somebody comes after us, we can hop over the jumping yucky.
Did you make you made a line that made it so it's not like you cut it off. It's like a finish line.
Right.
Got it. All right. My initial thought was that it was like a straight line going forward, but I forgot these hallways are 4-person wide, so you've just covered that. Okay. Ooh.
I got 5 hits with an 8 high.
So again, she makes it look easy. She examines the door a little bit, leans against it, and then looks at the lock, makes a couple adjustments on her auto picker, and then just click click, twists her wrist a little bit, and then you hear the door unlock with a satisfying little.
So much for the family's security.
I don't think I'm going to actually open it. I think I'm just going to leave it where it is.
All right.
Yeah. In case of emergency or rescue of endangered people. But whatever. We'll get there. We'll see what happens.
What was the second one? I'm sorry. That's it.
Oh, quick way out. Yeah.
That's
Cool.
much less menacing. Sure.
Yeah.
That doesn't go out.
You don't know, Roland.
No, but I do.
Okay, so I'm like, I turn around, and I'm like, cool, thanks.
All right. So now the three of you are standing in that T section, Pax having recently unlocked the door that's over that way.
I suppose we should report back to Cho and get ready to send 3 more of the Dead Man's gang to the deaths.
Help them live up to their name.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I don't know where the thing is or what the thing is, but I do know that was part of the plan, yes.
I feel a little bad. I know they're all bad people, but like, Cho doesn't seem like so bad.
I mean, she does seem to be friends with just tremendously bad people.
I would say that makes her complicit in their actions, if not her own, does it not?
Sure, but like, she like nobody else accepted her, and they would. So wouldn't you be friends with people who accept you? I don't know. It was just bugging me a little bit. It's probably like a weird empathetic thing or whatever. I don't know. It seems extreme. She's not like violent, right?
I mean, that we've personally witnessed.
You do know she killed at least one person. She killed a wounded friend of Salvatore Alston. She told you, like, he like told her about the Gatii family, and then once he was done giving her all the information, she shot him and left him on the side of the road.
Yeah, didn't she kill that guy? That one guy?
Yeah, I guess that's right.
I don't feel great about her dying, but I do think that if she survives, she's going to help the rest of the Dead Man's gang hunt us down, and I feel worse about that.
I think the thing is that no one is all good or all evil. But some people are mostly one or the other. And I think everyone in the Dead Man's gang, in one way or another, is now, I hesitate to say deserving of death. But I will say it after hesitating.
Sure. I mean, sure.
I would be much happier if it wasn't us delivering them there. But, you play with the cards you're dealt or have up your sleeve. And right now, these are the cards we have.
Okay. I also had another thought. So do you think that Rufus is gonna believe us if we're the only ones alive again?
I was sort of thinking about that. I was gonna say, I think we may have to shoot, like, you or Kinsey, but realistically, I'm the one who would get shot. I think you might have to wound me for me to sell the lie.
Okay, and so, okay, and then because the thing is if there's only like 9 of them, and if we are killing basically half, do you think he might scrap the plan at all? Like, in like such a weakened situation? I don't know.
Rufus doesn't strike me as someone to abandon his plan because things have started to go wrong. The other thing I did consider is, I think we should bring back some of the guns they want. Not all of them, obviously, right? But I think if we bring back, a quarter of them or a third or something of what he was expecting, we can say like, hey, we tried to rob the family and this is what we could accomplish. Even you in your madness must see that this is a win.
Okay. It's very, that's a lot.
I mean,
Okay.
we've been balancing on the edge of a knife thus far, and we've done pretty well.
Okay, yeah.
I've come to see our situation as a bridge that we are 4 steps from the end of, and we just continually build those next steps. And at some point there will be an other side to this bridge.
Well said.
Really hate that visual.
Well, I've been living with it for a month now, so...
Okay, well, good talk, everyone.
I'm glad we've checked in like this.
You reached the end of the tunnel leading out. What's the rest of the day look like? Do you guys just get into anything in particular, or is it just kind of like lighter fare, eat, go back, get enough rest, that kind of thing?
I mean, it's probably a good idea to coordinate with the Gatees as to where the Jumping Yaki is, but I could just do that over the course of the day. I mean, we're trying to help them help us, right?
Yeah, you have a LRC call sign that you can use to get in touch with a KO Gatii. So you can easily go over to the LRC tower and just, the LRC operator offers to help. You say no, and you are able to
don't say no. No, I do need the operator's help. Unless one of you comes with me.
No, I absolutely...
All right, good.
This is why it's important to learn things about your teammates.
So then Roland can send a message without the operator reading it to a KO Gatii in order to basically inform her, hey, we broke into your tunnels, no big deal, but you don't want to use this hallway. We've planted a trap there. Don't use that hallway.
And then also I'll add, it may help us as a sort of future investment if we can leave this engagement with, a third of the guns that Alston planned to sell. Just a thought.
Okay. You do send that. And then the day passes without really anything super...
There's one more thing I'd like to do over the course of the day. I would like to inconspicuously acquire like 2 first aid, I guess 2 of each cube, depending on cost for that.
Sure. I'm not going to make you roll connections for that. This is a very nice town. It has a pretty good supply of like general goods. Hell, Kinsey knows one of the general store owners. Between you and Kinsey, very, very easily, you're able to get 2 machinery cubes for 2 spurs each, 2 tech cubes for 3 spurs each, and 2 first aid cubes for 4 spurs each.
That's 18 spurs, yeah?
You're better at mental math than I am.
Cool. That's 18 spurs. I will get 1 fewer of tech and first aid, just to have some spurs left over.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to get some general goods for sure. That's easy enough. Anyone else? Anything?
Well, while I'm there, since we're meeting up with Janice again, I'll buy a couple of cubes as well. I'm sorry, what were the rates again?
It is 2 spurs for machinery cubes, 3 spurs for tech cubes, and 4 spurs for first aid cubes.
I'll buy 2 machinery cubes and a first aid cube, which should amount to 8, I believe.
Yes. Cool. And if no one else has anything else, the day passes without an incident.
I do need to go meet up with Cho and just sort of fill her in.
Sure. She has begun sketching in like a notepad. You see there's like some crumpled up pieces of paper like tossed in the corner. And you come in and she closes the notepad, sets it down. And you basically give her a report. She does ask like, yeah, what have anything new? Found out anything else?
Yeah, we've done done some snooping around town. We found one of the entrances to the Gatii's secret tunnel network underneath the town. We've tracked it to the weapons. You were right; they're underground. And so once we get some backup, we can show you the way. And I think this plan will work.
All right. Good work. I say we rest up and wait for reinforcements to arrive tomorrow.
Sounds good to me.
Were you hungry at all? It seemed like they had some kind of goulash downstairs on special. No, you haven't eaten since the morning. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I did leave the room temporarily to talk to the bartender to get some food up in the afternoon, but it's about supper time, so yeah. Go, give me something.
Of course.
Yeah, and you're able to get food for Cho. And she, like, after you deliver it, she's like, you can go now.
I shall. Rust up, as you say.
And she goes, yep, and taps her forehead just to fuck with you a little bit. And yeah, the 3 of you are able to rest up. You can have some food, maybe some drink to get the edge off tonight. I think actually, yeah. You know what we haven't done in a minute? We haven't done shoot the shit in a minute, and this is a nice little patch of downtime as you wait between leaving Cho and having the next batch of Dead Man's Gang people arrive. So let's go ahead and do shoot the shit. Let's have each of you choose another person to roll personality towards and find out if you learn something about, or if you bond with them, if you have some bad blood, or if they learn something about you.
I'll go ahead and pick Kinsey.
I'll go ahead and pick Pax.
I got Roland.
All right. Everyone roll personality as an attribute-only test. So that is your personality attribute +4 for the target number, and then your dice are the normal dice that you would normally roll for a personality test. So I think, what, Kinsey, you're rolling like 1 die out of 6?
That's absolutely correct, yes. Thank God for that reliability. All right.
You can always spend grit on the shoot the shit if you want.
There's no fun in that.
So who wants to go first?
Sure, I'll go first.
And you picked Kinsey?
I did.
All right. And how many successes did you roll?
I got 5.
Kinsey and Roland are gonna bond over something. So I think Pax, I don't know if you turn in early for the night or if there's something that you would be doing this evening after you guys left Cho to leave Kinsey and Roland kind of alone. But at some point, Kinsey and Roland find themselves by themselves. Pax, what are you doing while they're chatting?
I'm really curious about her journal, so I'm gonna see if I can like get to it without like her noticing. And so probably I'm just gonna like hang out in our room for a long time until she falls asleep, and then I'm gonna try to steal it. Yeah.
Okay, we'll deal with that later. Yeah, so Roland and you guys could be at the bar, or the two of you are sharing a room. So it could be once you start retiring to the room, your choice. But the two of you bond over something. What do you think?
I think it's in the room, and I think Roland, not right before bed, but like before bedtime a bit, like sits down on the bed, looks over at Kinsey. All right. There's genuinely no judgment from me on this. I'm gonna teach you to read, Kinsey, because it's important that in a moment of crisis, I be able to signal you non-verbally.
Yes, it's a skill I've been avoiding for quite some time. I suppose that this is going to be a part of my lifestyle going forward. I may as well try.
It's there's nothing to be ashamed of. Plenty of people go their whole lives.
Ashamed? I don't even know the meaning of the word.
I wholeheartedly believe you.
No need to be snotty about it.
Yeah. So I don't have many of my belongings, but I was a professor for a time. I have quite a bit of experience teaching things to people. Let's see, I've probably got something easier in here, and I pull out, like, I don't know, a novel I had.
Sure.
It's a bad one. It's poorly written, but sort of like trashy sci-fi.
Yes.
Has all these crazy ideas about like space travel and aliens. What even are those?
Bella glanced from her rocket ship.
Yeah. No, you got it.
Into the eyes of her brown-eyed lover. The eyes of her brown. This is the best thing you've got for me to read.
See, here's the thing. It's going to use a wide range of reading levels at varying points. At some points, it will be almost childish in its simplicity, and at others, it will be unnecessarily complicated and complex in an effort to sound smarter. So it's sort of, it's like an obstacle course for your brain.
Fair enough.
Yeah, let's go ahead and Roland, go ahead and roll a lore test to assist Kinsey rolling a lore test. Kinsey, since you don't know how to read, let's have you roll. Let's have you starting off at a -4.
Great. Why not?
I will go ahead and spend 2 grit to play to the gallery on this. So listen, we're gonna go on an ambush later and get shot at, and people are gonna try and kill us. But I am a proponent of spending grit on unit cohesion. Okay, that's pretty good. So, I don't mean to brag, but I am a 4 hits on 4 dice good teacher.
That eliminates your negative penalty, Kinsey, so you can just roll lore straight up.
I'll spend 1 grit to make my own luck before the test roll.
Feeding me grit for later.
You said it was a -1, right? Yeah, sorry.
No penalty. Yeah,
no penalty. Right.
Roland got rid of all your penalties with his excellent teaching.
That is 3 hits for Kinsey.
Holy shit, Kinsey, you're starting to get it.
She loosened her corset surreptitiously, as though no one could see her, but she knew that he could see her. God, this is awful.
Right, but see, here's the thing. Not only have they run the gamut of sort of reading levels in words, they've also explained what those words mean needlessly by stating what they mean after they say them.
But this heteronormative plotline, it's killing me. It's killing me.
You're only halfway through the book, Kinsey. All right? It gets significantly more progressive and weird.
Better be some kind of role reversal twist in this, or I won't bother finishing it.
There are several.
All right, sweet. You both can have a grit because that's fantastic. Oh man. All right, Kinsey. Who did you pick?
I picked Pax.
All right, and how many successes did you get?
Got one success.
Hey, Pax gets to learn something about Kinsey. So the next morning, right? Cho sends Kinsey to go get some food. She seems to rather enjoy sending Kinsey to get her food. And then there's a point like, Roland is still, getting ready for the day, whatever that entails for Roland. And Kinsey and Pax, the two of you kind of find yourselves like on the balcony of the saloon, just kind of like standing and waiting for Roland. And Pax, you get to learn something about Kinsey. What do you want to learn?
I don't know. What is there to learn?
So many things. If you could learn why I am afraid of illuminated people, if you want.
Hey, that's pretty
All
good.
right.
But Kinsey's going to...
Kinsey has been very visibly been shaken by Cho since he found out that she is illuminated.
Kinsey's going to unfold his long Merlin-type pipe and load it up and start just smoking on the balcony. Seems like appropriate time. But I hope this doesn't bother you.
No. You don't have to get her meals, right?
It makes me more comfortable being on her good side, I think.
So, but you weren't scared of Miguel, but you're scared of her?
Oh, Miguel's just muscles and guns. I understand that. No, what she does is far beyond my understanding of how she relates to reality and impulses. It's strange to me. I don't understand it.
Wait, you're afraid of her because she's illuminated. What are you doing?
I don't want her thinking, she might be watching. She could be, here, right there, just in our minds. I don't care for it.
Why would she be watching us right now?
I don't know, but she could, and that's what's terrifying about it. Have you ever, do you know what a wampus is?
That's not really real, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not really real. Clearly, you haven't spent enough time out in the... Where's their natural habitat, Thomas?
They tend to be in the more remote places of the Badlands, though there have been sightings of wampus in the waste and the garden as well. But it tends to be kind of like the northern or southern, remote areas of the Badlands.
You never spent time in the northern deserts of the Badlands. I can tell you that I've spent extensive trapping expeditions, and they'll sneak up on you, drive you completely mad, drive you to murder all of your teammates. It's terrifying. If you've never experienced it, it's hard to explain.
But that's like a wild animal.
But it comes from the same place, though, doesn't it? It comes from it's all from old Lucy or Lou or whatever you want to call it. It's the same element. If the origin is the same, the intent can be the same, and that's all I'm saying, and it's terrifying, and I hate it.
But you could say that about so many things.
Yes, but those things I understand a little bit more about. You know, if I can feel it and touch it and then experience it. But this is just, I'm not cursed or blessed or whatever you want to call it. How are you not terrified of that? Don't you understand?
I'm not interesting enough to be affected. And I
Yeah.
don't think you are either. It's very, very self-centric for you to think so.
Well, I like myself rather quite a lot.
Yeah, I know that.
No, you're more interesting than I think that you let on. You've got some secrets, I can tell.
Well, even if I do, it does. We're not talking about me. And, but okay, so fear of the unknown, like that's like not your thing, right?
No,
Like
not
you
usually.
you climb all the mountains and you kill all the wildlife and you go places that nobody's ever been and all of the stuff about the like Kalu or whatever, like
Hallelujah.
Kalu, and so like fear of the unknown is like you you get that's like weird for you specifically.
Look, there are known knowns, right? And there are known unknowns. And then there are unknown unknowns. And that's a completely different animal. You don't understand. If you don't know what you don't know, how can you not know what you don't know? Right? You can know what you don't know, but you can't not know what you don't know. Don't you know?
And then Roland opens up the door. He is finished prepping for the day.
Would you please help me?
Sure, what's going on?
Well, and then I like go on into it, yeah.
Huh. I can't.
You see? He can. He can't.
Pax, you chose Roland, yes?
I did.
How many successes did you roll?
1.
Okay. So, Pax, or Roland, you get to learn something about Pax. So there's a point after that conversation where Kinsey goes off. Maybe this is when Kinsey actually ends up buying the rest of his supplies for the day. There's a point where, Roland and Pax, the two of you are sitting at the bar or sitting at a table in the saloon or something like that. And Roland, you get to learn something about Pax.
So, the door and the tunnel.
Yeah?
Listen, it's literally my job to like read people and tell when things are important to them and know when they're lying and be able to see the things they would rather remain unseen. It's a bad escape route. Why'd you unlock it?
Well, if someone needs to use it one day, then it'll not be locked.
Oh, okay. It's not our escape route.
It could be.
It won't be.
Listen, not everyone gets to choose what happens to them, and maybe if they feel like they want to take the agency to take their lives back, then they can. Especially if they get like a letter through their window telling them that the door's unlocked. Whatever.
Listen, I can see that this is very important to you, so I'm not going to tell you to not do that. But I understand not getting a choice in the matter. Look at where we are.
It's sort of different, you know?
Sure.
Like there are consequences to us leaving, and that might be us dying, right? But we got backed into a corner, but like we could have tried to get out. It wouldn't have worked probably, but we could have tried. You could have died while I got away. Like there's options here, but like, but like it's not the same. You know, you can inherit. You can inherit that debt, and yeah, sure, this is like really cushy, and like they're seemingly treated extremely well, and I'm sure that they are because the family doesn't want anything to come back and bite them, I assume. But and like if you've only got like a year or 2 years, but like my mom had her whole life. Um, my mom had her whole life of indentured because of some choices she made when she was young, and then she ran away, and they never caught her, but they caught me, and I didn't break the law until after I was indentured, and the only thing I did was set a building on fire to burn the records for the indentured servants. They're just freeing people, really. So, if somebody wants to make that choice, they should be able to, especially if they don't have kids that could inherit their stuff and never plan on having anyone related to them. It's complicated.
I can see that it's a complex and complicated thing. But I'm not going to tell you what to do. Right? You're my friend. I wouldn't do that. But I think your closeness to this may be clouding things that are otherwise. I'm just going to put it out there. If you help free the family's indentured servants, they will know it is us. And we plan on using them later. And we can't count on them if they have reason to distrust us. We can barely count on them as it is. But I shook hands with the head of the family, and that means something. And it won't if we free all their servants.
Well, probably not all of them would leave. But I get it. And you are telling me what to do. Like, I know you, master manipulator guy, so whatever, but...
I'm really not. Listen, you asked me not to do a scheme on the boat. I didn't do a scheme on the boat.
Do you want me to go lock it?
No. It's done. Undoing it now puts us at further risk. And I don't think it puts us at tremendous risk to leave it unlocked. But if you tell them to use it, that exposes us.
Okay. For now.
For now.
And then Kinsey comes back from his little shopping trip.
Oh my gosh, you got so much stuff. What do you need that for?
I don't go into town that often, okay? I might as well stock up now.
I mean, it takes a lot of supplies to build a tinfoil hat.
Quite sure what that means.
All right, Roland, you can have a grit. And Pax, you can also have a grit for all y'all's excellent roleplay. And Roland for being funny. You got it, Dan. You got your funny grit.
Hey, guess what? I can't take it, but I appreciate the gesture.
God damn you.
Spend your fucking grit. Just do it.
All right, so a little bit later in the afternoon, well, not, like a little bit later in the morning, like a little bit after noon, you hear engines roaring outside the saloon. And I presume one or more of you.
Yeah, I'll go out and meet them before they shoot somebody in the first 10 minutes they're here.
So, Roland, you step out, and you see Sierra and Maddie the Madman on Bo's motorcycle. It's a very like large motorcycle. It kind of dwarfs them a little bit. They look a little small on it, and they're like average sized people. But Sierra and Maddie pull up. They park the motorcycle, and then right behind them, pulling up next to them on a mechanical horse, is Rosa Volantes.
Oh shit! Fired! Damnation!
So Sierra gets off the motorcycle. She's wearing dark leathers. Her bow and quiver are like slung over her back. She's got a big rucksack over her shoulder that she pulls off of the back of the motorcycle. Maddie's a smaller, kind of scrawnier guy. He's not like old, but like he carries himself like a crazy old man. Like he's like a little skittish. His hair's kind of greasy. Fans of the Essential NPCs podcast might relate Maddie the Madman to Brother Dub from the last season of the podcast. Yeah, he's got like a scruffy beard, and he pulls two large like packs, like a backpack and then a big like hanging bag off his shoulder, full of like clanking metal and stuff. And then Rosa Volantis pulls in on a very nice mechanical automaton horse. She swings off of it and pulls the ignition off of the neck, and it kind of just like shuts down there next to the saloon. And she is wearing like a long coat. She's got tanned skin, dark brown curly hair that's just kind of like pushed back and like hangs over her back. She's got two very, very fine pistols on her hip, low slung. They're immaculately kept as always. And she notices you, Roland, and as the other two are kind of working with their stuff, she walks straight up to you. It doesn't look like she's got a big pack to carry. And she walks up to you, looks around, and goes, "Where's Cho?"
Yeah, our mutual friend is, we got rooms. I'll lead you right to her. Follow me, please.
She reacts a little bit to your like accent that you're affecting, but she doesn't address it.
Good.
And Sierra and Matthew both get their stuff together. They walk in. Rosa walks up and says, "Room for the two of them and a room for me." And bartender she hands over the spurs. Keys go over, and Sierra and Maddie go up to the room. Rosa orders a whiskey, and she goes, "You want anything?"
Yeah. Whiskey neat for me.
2 whiskeys, then. Bartender serves them up, and she holds up a glass and she goes, "To Miguel."
To Miguel. May you rest in peace.
She shoots, sets it down. She doesn't slam it down. She gently sets it down, like pointedly. And then she looks at it for a second, kind of tapping her finger against the empty glass, and she goes, "What happened there, Roland?"
Miguel decided he was more interested in shooting up a town than he was getting the job done. And then I, being the only thing approaching a doctor around, tried to save his life in the back of a truck.
While this is happening, Kinsey and Pax, you guys are in the saloon, and you see Sierra and Matthew working their way up to the door. There's a point where Cho kind of opens the door and looks out to them, hearing like the commotion in the saloon through her door. And Sierra locks eyes with Cho, turns to Maddie and goes, "Help me out here, Maddie. Just take the stuff to the room, will you?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And he like lugs all the stuff into the room, and Sierra approaches Cho, and you hear her go, "Cho, you got a minute? Something I want to get off my chest." And Cho's like, "Well, come on in."
Did we both hear that exchange?
Yeah, you both hear that exchange. Yeah, from the balcony. Pax, if you said anything, you're muted.
Okay. Do you think I should?
I think you really should, yes.
Okay. All right. So I will go up. I will go upstairs.
Okay, you can do that easily. What do you do once you're up on the balcony there?
I mean, we've stayed here for a couple nights, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think, has the walls been like relatively, like, are they thin or are they like you can't hear through them?
They're definitely not incredibly thick. You can hear a little bit in the other rooms. You haven't, unless you have, I don't think you've tested like putting a cup against them to see exactly how well you can hear.
I have not done that.
But like, it's kind of a toss up. It seems probably that it errs toward the side of listenable through.
Okay. I would like to spend 4 grit to flashback. I left the window open.
Oh,
all right.
That's pretty good. Yeah, you can spend 4 grit. That's not even going to require a test. You can have left the window open. That's
okay.
Fine.
Great. See there, I spent grit.
There you go.
Okay. So I'm actually going to go to the boys' room, the men's, where they're sleeping.
Open their window too.
Open their window, and
Man, I don't want to give you grit because you just spent 4 grit, but this is such a good way to listen in on this conversation. I feel like I have to give you a grit for like a very creative and intelligent like method. It's not like just like it's not just leaning against the door or anything. It's like I love it. Take a grit. You get a discount on your flashback because it's so good.
Yeah, and I will I'll open their window, and if I have to if I can't hear what's going on from like just by leaning out, I will like parkour like gymnastics my way either up onto the roof or like hang under the like on their windowsill underneath. Like I'll like go over. Like I'm not sure what the exterior.
Yeah, not that you wouldn't be capable of doing such a thing, but the windows are close enough together that you can hear them talking.
Whoa.
Meanwhile, at the bar, Roland, Rosa's looking at you and she goes, "Well, I hear it, a marshal pulled him out of a crowd and had designs on arresting him. Do I have the wrong story?
Oh no. Sorry. My view is a bit colored, as I had gone to great lengths to protect Miguel from being identified.
I'm sure.
Yeah. We was in the clear. We was walking through, getting off the boat, and Marshall called out his name, and Miguel thought it best to engage rather than just keep walking.
Mm-hmm. Strange, a marshal being in Wilburton. I ain't necessarily a big town. I don't even think they have a jail cell there. I think they outsource to a neighboring town.
Well, I imagine when your face is literally everywhere in every settlement, people start looking around where you tend to operate.
But from what I can tell, judging by the LRC notifications, Marshall shot in Wilburton is named Donna Kane. She don't operate in that territory. She was out of her jurisdiction. That seems mighty strange to me that she'd just be bounty hunting on the side.
Yeah, no, it probably has nothing to do with the head marshal that you kidnapped. I'm sure that has not elevated their, alert or quest for justice in any way. We can probably expect that law enforcement will be as usual and as if nothing has changed.
I don't know Liberty City and Alanestead to work together a lot on situations such as this. So a Liberty City marshal in that area strikes me as odd. Did you notice anything odd on my way to Wilburton, Roland?
Yeah, I noticed Salvador Alston got himself got by the family.
Right, there's that too. Now here we are, planning on making a move against them. How you feel about that?
Well, all things being even, I'd rather not try and rob the family, but hey, that's the situation we're in. So, given the circumstances, I think we got a decent shot.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think are the chances, just hypothetically, that Salvador wasn't done in by the family at all and we're barking up the wrong tree? That seemed like a likelihood to you?
Someone went to an awful lot of lengths to make it look like the Gatii family got him.
All right, so obviously you've been hiding information from her during this conversation. Let's go ahead and do a manipulate test.
Sure.
See how she feels about you.
I bet she feels bad, but she's gonna believe me. I am dressed well. Am I dressed to impress?
You're still in like your city slicker outfit?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I sort of figured it's not possible to dress to impress Rosa Valantes.
Yeah.
I'd have to be pretending to be an entirely different person to dress to impress Rosa Valantes. Sure. I'll spend 3 grit to bamboozle her.
Oh, nice. 3 grit, so she's at a -3.
I really don't want to just get shot in a bar.
All right. You are currently up against an 8. Though, I'd like to know what your highest is.
Right now my high is an 11.
Ah! Okay, so the aggressor in this situation, she's actively trying to suss you out. So I think she's the aggressor in the situation.
Okay.
Since she's the aggressor, she has to spend grit first. She's gonna spend grit to play to the gallery.
Okay.
And that lets her count her 11.
Shit.
Okay, cool. Did you want to spend any grit?
No, poor sweet Rosa. I don't have 111. I got 2 11s.
I mean, that doesn't matter. It's just highest, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So her.
No,
11,
I guess she just like negates everything, and it's a wash either way, right?
Yeah. So she wipes out your 11s. She has 1 net success over you, because her explosion.
Oh, sure. Right.
So her 11 wipes out the rest of your board. She's got 1 on you. So she leans in, and she goes, Roland, you are a clever man. You are a clever man, and you are good with words. What exactly happened? How is it that Miguel fell prey to that marshal? With 3 of you at his side, I would have thought maybe Pax or Kinsey could have done something. Use your skill at words, Roland, and paint me a picture of what exactly went down in Wilburton. She orders another drink, takes a shot, sets it down. She goes, "You're walking off the boat."
For some time now, you have operated as if you are invincible. You take anything you want. You go anywhere you please. You show your face to everyone, announce your names everywhere you go. Everyone in the garden knows your face. Everyone in the Badlands knows your face and your name. You cannot operate here without people finding you. And you would be an idiot to think that eventually that can't catch up with you. You don't strike me as an idiot, Rosa. But Rufus does.
Roll
Yeah.
that twist. What?
Wow.
Yeah, this feels like another manipulate roll.
It does. Fuck, dude.
So roll that up. We'll resolve that in a second. Yeah, up in the room with Pax. You're listening into Sierra and Cho.
I'm not ready for this.
Are any of us?
I'm reeling.
You are listening through the window. You can hear Sierra and Cho's voices coming out of the window you left open in your and Cho's room. Yeah, you hear Sierra going, and then, because that stagecoach lady was acting skittish, I end up getting the 3rd degree from Rufus, as if I somehow tipped her off. Even though I saw with my own eyes that snake, Roland, talking to her multiple times in different disguises. And now, Rufus sends Rosa to babysit me and Maddie on this heist like we're new blood? You hear Cho say, I'll admit, I'm surprised he sent her.
Shit.
I'm telling you, Cho, we can't trust these 3 drifters. They're up to something, playing mind games. We stopped by Miguel's body on the way here. I told Maddie to take a look at his wounds. He said something seemed strange. Strange? Strange how? Well, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. He said something about the shrapnel seeming weird, discoloration, strange patterns, stuff like that. Now my point is, these drifters are trouble. Something's off about Miguel's death. And what, they got you hiding away so you can't keep an eye on them while they run around town doing who knows what? You hear like a chair move, and you hear like someone sitting down. I don't know, Sierra. They've had every opportunity to run, What do they have to gain by sticking around to muck up our plans? It doesn't matter what the angle is. Maybe they lost someone in the caravan we hit. It ain't like we're hurting for enemies these days. Hell, maybe we killed someone close to them a year ago and now they're here wanting revenge. Or maybe they're after the map, same as us. It doesn't add up. You said that Marshal in Wilburton recognized Miguel. But what are the chances of a marshal and a sheriff showing up at the docks early in the morning armed and looking for a fight? My guess? They were tipped off that Miguel would be in town that day. And you hear Cho kind of sigh and go, Sierra, you're reaching here. Maybe they weren't ready to go all in at the beginning when Rufus sent them into Stag's Cross, and that's why they were acting strange then. But they could have left Miguel for dead outside Moorbank. Why save him from the Yucky just to stick a marshal on him down the river? You weren't there in Wilburton, Sierra. They had Miguel's back till the end. Hell, McCharlotte was slinging lead at the marshal during the getaway, same as Miguel. And there's like a slight pause, and Sierra goes, I'm telling you, Cho, there's something off about all this. And Cho says, listen, if Rufus actually does trust them, so do I. And if he don't, then he has a plan. So if you want to keep an eye on the drifters, be my guest. But I'm going to focus on getting these weapons. Because if we don't, there ain't no way Rufus can convince a marshal that his mama's in enough danger for him to tell us where he's hiding the map. Fine. But if they're leading us into some sort of a trap, that means they've got family backing. And if that's the case, we're up the creek without a paddle, Cho. Hell, if that's your worry, you ought to be glad that Rufus sent Rosa with you. There's a slight pause, and Sierra goes, I suppose that's true. Anyways, how's the grub here? I'm starving. You rode all night. And Cho goes, it's all right. If you want, I can make McCharlotte get it for you. He's super scared of me. And they chat a little bit at that point about not you guys.
Okay.
You continue listening in.
Yeah.
Okay. Cut back. Oh no, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, maybe not so like eagerly, like out the window, like and like maybe like just like the window's open, I'm here, their window's open, and they're there, whatever. Meet cute.
Sure. So now you're passively listening.
Yeah.
All right, Roland. What'd you get on your manipulate there?
It's a good roll, but it's not a great roll. And I don't have any grit to do anything with it.
No.
My high is an 11.
Oh, but you're the aggressor this time. Because you flipped it around and now you're slinging lies at her, uninvited.
Jesus.
So you actually, she also rolled an 11 for her high, and yeah. So how many?
It's just the one.
Just the one. Okay. That's fantastic.
Damn.
So the last thing you said, oh yeah, Rufus. She stares at you for a second, Roland, and goes, you don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I don't. Right, so you figure that Marshall's going to give up whatever information is that he has that you want. Because you've come so close already, and you just got to push him over the edge, right? And surely you've planned something big, and no one could foresee that it's a trap and send a literal army to retrieve their lost Marshal. Think about these things, Rosa.
You don't strike me as a man familiar with conflict. You strike me as a man who skirts around the outside, finding safety where he can.
You misunderstand what I do and who I am, Miss Volantes.
Do I? Well, then enlighten me. From what I understand, you got queasy when Rufus took out Parkhurst.
Yeah, because I don't particularly enjoy murder. But what I do is find ways to succeed that mean I can keep continuing to succeed. Sometimes that brings me into conflict. Sometimes that goes around conflict. But do you know what it always does? Gets me what I want. Rufus is a blunt instrument wielding a scalpel. You're the scalpel. Anyone can see that.
I appreciate the vote of confidence. But let's change subject here to your recent traveling companions, Kinsey and Pax. How well do you think you know them?
Given my set of skills, quite well.
And you trust them?
Yes.
So we move against the family tonight. And you're telling me you're willing to put your life in their hands?
Absolutely.
She like reads every inch of your face as you say that, and I assume sees truth.
It's a facsimile of truth that's so well constructed as to be indistinguishable from the real thing.
I mean, I assume you trust them with your lives, with your life.
I don't have a choice. Ergo, I do.
And she goes, all right. Another drink?
Sure.
And then another round shows up in front of you. And she holds up a glass. And she says, to the dead man's gang.
Long may we reign.
Clink. And she drinks it.
I think throughout that conversation, at some point, patience was rewarded, right?
Yeah. I think. Yeah. It feels like patience was rewarded like 3 times so far this session. Yeah, I think that's an XP for everyone.
He's always so patient in the face of a tense situation.
All right, Tommy. This is, I promise, the most metagame thing I will ever do, and it's not that bad.
No, I think I know what you're going for. Say it.
Have I talked someone out of conflict with me?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Great. I can relax now.
I thought you were going for, and I'll point this out so you can get an extra grit. You absolutely pushed your luck despite a clear and present chance of failure.
Great.
If you still have that advancement trigger, you for sure get that XP.
Tommy, I will never give up that trigger so long as the Dead Man's Gang is alive.
I can't believe you came at Rosa doubting Rufus. That's nuts.
You gotta play offense in the grift. It's the only way to come out
That's
alive.
how you got the tie there. That's how you were definitely the aggressor in that. It wasn't like the both of you try. It wasn't even like a no aggressor situation where the both of you were trying to kind of like figure it out. It's like you clearly took the aggressor position when you made that lie. Or not lie, but that assertion. That's great. So yeah, you get a grit for knocking 2 XP. Is anyone else while we're talking about XP?
Yeah, someone was threatened with violence. It wasn't outright, but I think we all understand the amount of violence that we've been threatened with.
Man, if you could only see my notes. Yeah, no, you're fine.
Okay.
That's
And
next.
an open fight was avoided through underhanded means, lying.
Yep. Roland just avoided an open fight with Rosa, hands down.
Okay,
In that way, was a predator evaded?
Yeah, Rosa.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm so glad I changed that trigger.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a great trigger.
Yeah, and then also I think I showed y'all how to survive in the wild by bringing the wild with me over our entire past week of travel.
That's an XP there. And don't forget, Kinsey, you get grit for knocking 2 of your XPs.
Yep.
Well done, guys. That was great. All right, so Sierra leaves Cho's room, looks around, and says, "Oi," to you, Kinsey.
Yes, what's... Hello?
Cho says she wants more food.
Oh, sure. I think they still have goulash left over from yesterday, if you'd like it.
Try something better. She's feeling picky today. And then she walks back into the room.
Right. I suppose I'll walk up to the bar then and talk to the bartender.
Yep.
So, do you have a new special today? Or something perhaps more fancier, I suppose?
I mean, we got some tenders. You could have some tendies.
What kind of dipping sauce would those come with?
Standard.
Standard sauce and tendies. That sounds quite delightful. Can I get the two plates of that, please?
Sure thing. He sticks them in a hydrator, quick bake thing. It lights up for 2 seconds, then he opens it up and they're steaming, and he hands them over to you and peels off the top of some reddish brown looking dipping sauce.
Yes, and I'll could I buy a couple of drinks for those two over there? I say, indicating Roland and sorry, I missed Sierra. What's her name?
Rosa.
Rosa, yes, thank you. Roland and Rosa.
Sure thing. That and the food be about a spur.
And I'll toss him my last current spare.
He catches it. Much obliged.
Cheers.
He hands 2 more drinks over to Rosa and Roland. And Rosa shoots hers, sets it down, and goes, "All right, like I said, we'll move tonight. So rest up, make whatever preparations. I'll be knocking on your door."
We'll be ready.
And then she walks off to her room. Pax, Sierra, and Cho are just laughing at Kinsey. As Kinsey does, I assume, deliver the food.
Tendies and standard sauce. You know, the delight of the house, I'm told.
Cho goes, "That's it?"
Well, you
That's
said you
it?
wanted something fancy. Oh, that's it. Yes, that's it.
"I suppose we'll make do with our own drinks, but I ain't pleased to be eating these without refreshment."
My apologies. I spent my last spur buying a drink for Rosa.
And Sierra goes, "Cho, it's all right. We'll make do. I brought a flask with me." And Cho's like, "I don't know, Kinsey, this is quite a disappointment." And Sierra goes, No, Cho, it's fine. Kinsey, thank you. And takes the plates, shuts the door, and Pax, you hear them laughing.
As soon as they just break down into super mean girl mode, I'm not interested anymore. So yeah, I'll just not steal anything from this room and leave.
Not steal anything from your traveling companions.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Paxton. Thanks for dropping by, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go downstairs. Are you coming or no? You're not coming downstairs?
Well, I thought I'd get some sleep before the heist.
Sure.
Or should I? I could. I
No,
don't know.
You
Yes. No,
can. It's
I can. I'm gonna get some sleep.
okay. That sounds good. All right.
Good night. I've got some reading to practice.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's really nice.
Yes, I know. I thought I'd try it out.
Oh, sure. I'll steal. I'll steal you a book if you want from
I'd
like the
appreciate
school.
that. So, this
Yeah.
is awfully dreadful.
Okay, sure.
Dreadfully awful.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No
Don't
worries.
get caught here.
That's funny. Yeah. No. Yeah. I'll see if I can't find you like a primer.
I like it.
Okay.
Good night, Pax. Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
I'm gonna go find the school and steal a primer from the school.
Okay, well, as you get down to the floor of the bar, you see Roland looking just a little bit shaken at the end of the bar.
I walk over to him. Hey, I'm gonna go on a walk / errand.
Walk sounds great.
Okay.
All right, yeah, the two of you head out on the town towards the school.
Nice. I'll wait until we're like a respectable distance away, and I'll have us like double back a couple of times to make sure Sierra's not following us because she's like annoying that way, and then we will head towards the school.
Okay.
Okay. But once we're like a reasonable distance, then I'm pretty sure that we're not being followed. That I'll break into conversation.
Sure, if you're trying to keep an eye out for anyone following you, you can roll an observe test.
Good.
Same.
Yeah.
I got 2 hits and they're very low.
What's your highest?
2.
Oh wow, that is very low.
I also have a 1 in case it comes up.
I have a 9 high.
Okay. So yeah, the two of you walk for a little bit, keeping an eye over your shoulder, zigzagging a little bit. You don't feel like you're being followed.
Once I feel like we're sure, or as sure as we can be, I'll be like, what happened?
I insinuated that perhaps Rosa should be in charge of the dead man's gang.
What?
I was backed into a corner verbally. It's sort of a personal fear. I don't want to die shot in a bar. And she was dissatisfied with my explanation of why Miguel is dead. So I turned it around on her, and I blamed Rufus.
Okay. What is it about? I mean, she wasn't even there. What is it that makes her like feel suspicious about us or his death?
It's a combination of things, I think, really. We're new. None of their number have ever been killed before. I suspect all of them feel unjustifiably invincible. Yeah, it's really just those two things, I think. The marshal from a different territory showing up, and several things conspiring to put her on edge, and she is quite an edge.
Okay.
I think she trusts us enough to steal these guns.
Okay.
But beyond that, I don't know how much, and I don't relish the idea of driving back to rendezvous with the gang with her. I don't imagine... I'm pretty sure they'll shoot me before we get back, if that's the case.
Shoot you? Why? I don't. If they die?
If anything goes wrong, and any of them survives... Well, that's not true. If anything goes wrong and Rosa survives, I expect I'm first to be shot.
Oh, I won't let that happen.
I really appreciate that. But I suspect I've got the target on my back. They don't believe that you or Kinsey possess the verbal skill to put them into the position they're in.
Well, I mean, all I'd have to do is tell the truth.
Sure, but then they'd shoot you, and I can't. Like, listen, I do what I can, but I can't actually stop that from happening if they decide to kill you.
Sure. But without you, Kinsey and I are just a dead man's gang.
I don't...
So I'm not going to let it happen. Don't worry about it. Hold on. I just got to go in here really quick.
Sure, I'll keep watch.
Yeah, you pop in the school. I'm not going to make you roll for it. You steal a book from the children.
Oh, are you... I'm sorry, I never asked. Are you learning to read as well?
Oh, no. This is for Kinsey. He told me he was learning to read. So I thought, kids are also learning to read.
Sure.
And he said something about, the book he was reading being really terrible. So I figured he could...
The Heat of the Twin Moons is a fantastic book.
God damn it, Dan. Take another grip.
Twin Moons could be so many things. Oh, my God.
Jeez. No, not for anything it does intentionally, but it's a great book nonetheless.
Yeah, well...
I found out Kinsey didn't know how to read. I thought it best to be able to signal him non-verbally should it arise in the future as a situation. So I started, teaching him to read.
Yeah. Well,
Here,
take this book. I got it. You can share, I guess.
No, I know how to read.
No, I know that. I mean, you can share because you're teaching him, and there's exercises and stuff. And when you go to school, you
Oh no! Listen. I know how to construct a lesson plan. Thank you. This is a very kind and sweet gift.
Okay. I don't know why this. Okay, let's just So.
Sorry, I'm on edge.
It's okay. Okay, so we are... I'm gonna... Should I go, spring the springy plants now?
What?
Well, you said if any of them survive, then and any of them, don't survive, then if only partially survive, then we're gonna get shot. So we should help them succeed more.
No.
I
think Listen, this is the only time I'm ever going to say this, and it's only because it has lined up perfectly that this happens to be the right advice. It's almost never the right play, Pax. I think we should stick to the plan.
Okay.
All right. So the evening comes, unless anyone has anything they get into. A knock echoes on Roland and Kinsey's door. This is late at night. It's like 1 a.m. There's a rapping knock on your door.
Yeah, I'll get up and answer the door.
Rose is sitting there. She's got a thumb over her gun belt just behind one of her guns. And she goes, outside, 5 minutes.
We'll be there.
And then Pax, same happens on your door. Cho opens up the door and she goes, we're moving, let's go.
Okay. And I'll actually go over to Roland and Kinsey's and I'll grab like a pack, a thing out of my pack, and I'll bring it over.
Yeah.
And
as you go, you see Maddie and Sierra's door open up, and like they like start walking out. Maddie's got a not a huge pack on his back, but like a sizable backpack on his back.
And I'll knock on the door. Roland?
Yeah, what's up?
Did you want my spare armor?
Wait, you got... Is it... Maybe? I don't know.
It's like medium armor. It's like it's like heavier than what you wear usually, but I don't know. You like your clothes.
Yeah,
like,
but I also like living.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Did you?
Yeah, I mean we're about the same size.
Yeah.
She's a little taller and a little more muscular than you, but you know, straps are straps, right?
I'm pretty tall.
They got some notches.
Yeah, you know what? Listen, I done some tailoring in my day. I can make this work.
Yeah, sure. You can wear Pax's armor. You can wear medium armor. Are there any modifications on that armor, Pax?
No, this is bog standard, like average armor, medium armor. Like.
Okay, so not even excellent quality.
And nope, it's just like it's medium armor 2, Mark 2.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So I get about halfway into putting it on, and mine is better.
Do you also wear medium armor?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, then yeah, yours is better.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought weird. Why did you wear it before?
I didn't.
No, it was busted, right? Yours was busted.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
I remember I got near beaten to death by a skunk ape.
Yeah, that's it.
Ah, yes, good times. What a pleasant adventure that was.
Yeah.
That sucked, Kinsey.
Well, for pretty much everybody, yes. You got to look on the bright side of things, don't you, Roland?
Yeah, cool.
There was 6 arms coming in my face.
So I'll just put this back in my pack in case we need it for later. I don't know. And yeah.
Well, the skunk might show up. You never know.
So you gear up. You head out into the front of the saloon. And yeah, Rosa is waiting there. Cho and Sierra are already there. And like, you know, Maddie is walking with you guys basically. I guess it's the other way around. Maddie's already there. Sierra's kind of walking with you. And they're all geared up and ready. Rosa's got her 2 guns. She looks basically how she did before. Sierra's wearing her armor nice and strapped. She's got her bow and quiver. You see that Maddie... oh no, where's Maddie's stats? He
can't be killed.
No. He's split between 2 ships. He's got, yeah. So Maddie's got his backpack and strapped on the side of his backpack with like a quick release strap on it. He's got a medium firearm, and you notice a large cylindrical tube like attached to the bottom of it. It's like a Winchester with like an underbarrel tube, and they look to you, and Rosa goes, "All right, you know the entrance to this tunnel. Lead the way."
I will. It's my tunnel. I found it.
Yeah. As you guys walk through the night, Rosa looks to Kinsey and like kind of is like walking right behind, kind of slightly like next to Pax, and like Kinsey and Roland, you're there, and she goes, "For those of you that ain't been in a spot of trouble with me, you do as I say. When I say it, you'll come out on top. Understood?"
Got it.
Yeah,
Understood.
sure.
Don't know the rules, way.
Then Maddie goes, "You're the boss, Rosa." I ain't talking to you, Maddie.
Yes.
She gives you a sharp look at that, Roland. And yeah, you guys are able to get to the back door of that apartment building that that Pax broke, and you're able to open up the door that leads to the tunnels, and you head downstairs. Rosa she's basically following one of you, if not more than one of you. So who's in front of Rosa? It could be all three of you, or it could be one of you.
I think for sure the other two are going to need to watch me step over unless they remember pretty well where I buried the things.
Okay,
Or they could be in the back.
Okay, so Kinsey, you're in front. Rosa's right behind you, unless the other two want to be up front with Kinsey.
No, I'd rather be behind Rosa.
Okay, so Rosa and Kinsey are in the front because the tunnel's about 2-person wide. You're walking through, and as you guys kind of get to the bottom of the stairs, Rosa puts out a hand to stop you, Kinsey, turns to the rest of the group and goes, "Cho, do your thing." And Cho goes, "All right, this might be weird for some of you if you ain't ever experienced it before."
Oh no.
Yeah.
She like closes her eyes, and you see that kind of like glowing light move up her neck and like up into her temples, and then it like fades away, and then you hear her voice inside your head, and she goes, "Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing."
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear
That's
again
a neat trick.
in your brain, Rosa's voice going, "Loud and clear, Cho, loud and clear."
I don't like this, 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 I
Kinsey,
don't
stop
like this, I
thinking.
don't like
Oh
this,
my
I don't
god.
like
Kinsey.
Oh my god, are you hearing?
Cho grabs your shoulder like tightly, Kinsey, and goes, and then like looks at you. Her lips don't move, but you hear her in your brain as she goes, "Control your thoughts with Charlotte. All right? You only have to share what you want to share. This way, none of us have to talk out loud. All right?"
All right.
You said
Thinking about nothing. Thinking about nothing. Nothing.
And then you hear Maddie's voice in your head going, "Well, you don't technically have to think about nothing. You just have to sort of, willingly share with the group. So as long as you're not willingly sharing with the group, we shouldn't be able to hear what you're thinking."
Sure, that makes sense.
He gesticulates that way too. His lips don't move. He's gesticulating that way as he's like thinking his words at you.
Got it. That sounds great and makes a lot of sense to me.
Then Rosie goes, "All right, let's keep moving." And you move down the tunnel. And you keep walking for a little bit. Floorboards creaking just a little loudly than they seem to have before. It's much more. It just seems quieter. Things seem to echo a little more. There's also more of you. There's like 7 of you instead of 3. And you make it to the end of this tunnel into that kind of T section. And as you get there, Rosa puts her hand up and goes, Cho, which way? And Cho kind of sits there for a second and goes, this'll tap me out, boss.
No, we already explored. We know the location. Didn't want to have to do any extra work. We've already scouted out the location. Is this way?
Kinsey, go ahead and roll a.
Oh no!
I'll let you do manipulate or blend.
Great. Yes. Can we either one of those? I'll go with manipulate. I'm going to spend 6 grit to bamboozle.
Oh fuck!
I'm going to use motivational speaker to roll manipulate as an assist on any tests. And I will say into our telepathic link, Kinsey's right, we did the legwork already. Seems unwise to leave no gas in the tank.
Alright, so go ahead and roll manipulate to assist. Kinsey, you got Rosa at a -6, and we'll see what positive you get.
Ooh. Go ahead and take a +4, Kinsey.
Woof!
Alright, I'll need it. That's 2 successes with a high of 11.
Oh, that's not bad.
So yeah, you're up against an 8.
Right, so that's 1 success then. 1
Okay.
net hit.
Cool. So Rosa and Cho exchange a look. Rosa looks at Roland a little bit longer and then goes, all right, lead the way, McCharlotte.
I lead them to the right, stepping casually over where the jumping yaki are.
Sure.
Truly trying to think about nothing at all.
All right. Let me roll something for Rosa here. Because she's right there with you. Okay, so Kinsey steps over the area where he set up the jumping yucky, and Rosa is like keeping an eye forward, keeping an eye aside, and she steps onto one of the spots that has a jumping yucky, and it shoots out of the ground.
Oh my god.
She steps down and immediately just like up out of the top. It's not as tall as the jumping yucky that hit Miguel. Kinsey, you know this to be because you accelerated its growth. It didn't reach like full maturity, but like it did like reach enough maturity to trigger its pollination process. And so it bursts up, splintering the floorboards, slamming into the roof of this hallway with a loud crashing sound. And Rosa goes flying sideways. Let me just go ahead and mark some stuff here real quick.
Oh, that was a trap being used.
Yeah, utilized successfully?
Yeah,
For sure. That's an XP for everybody. As she kind of flies up and slams into the wall, kind of spinning off of the side of the jumping Yucky as she does, landing a little bit forward next to you, Kinsey. Sierra and Cho and Maddie are like shocked, and then there's like a moment of silence as like Rosa lays on the ground. She like writhes a little bit in pain, lets out like a coughing like grunt, and then Cho immediately knocks an arrow and pulls back her bow and aims it at you, Kinsey, and goes, "I fucking knew it! I knew it! You telling me jumping Yucky just the family's just planting jumping Yucky down here? Are you kidding me? Cho, Rosa, what did I tell you? These drifters are up to something." And Maddie is like looking to the back, being like, "We should be ready. They could have heard that." And Cho's like, Sierra, it could be, they're just native to this area. And Cho's like, no, Rosa, give me the order. I'll take it right between his eyes. You know I don't miss. And Rosa's just writhing on the ground. There's a few seconds before she has a chance to like say anything.
Well, I'm.
I think all of us maybe have differing plans we're about to enact.
Okay. I will, as I've become accustomed to, pause for just a second to see if Roland says something.
I do say something. Telepathically, I will say, trust us or not, if you start a fight right now, the family will kill all of us.
Go ahead, yeah. Roland, go ahead and roll a manipulate against Rosa. We'll put it at a -2 just because, a jumping Yucky almost did Miguel in. So there's like kind of that like, it must be related type thing. Which it is, but not in the way that some might think. You're up against a 9.
There's no grid expenditure that saves this roll. I have no net hits over a 9.
I think
What's your
Kinsey's.
My highest is an 8, so maybe she
Okay.
only rolled the 1-9, and she'll hesitate long enough for our backup to come and kill them.
No.
Sure.
Kinsey, what do you do?
Kinsey's going to shoot Rosa.
You're going to shoot Rosa?
That seems like the best course of action.
Not the one who's pointing a bow at you, but Rosa.
It's just a bow. I'll be fine.
Okay. Okay. So Rosa's on the ground. She looks up at you, and then as she's pulling herself up off the ground, Kinsey just, what is it, your sidearm or your rifle that you sling?
It's going to be the sidearm, yes, but it's filled with hollow point ammo, so...
So you draw your weapon as Rosa's kind of getting up, like leaning against the wall, and she's not looking at you, and as she looks up, you already have the gun out, and her hands drop fast as lightning to her guns, but not before you can pull the trigger.
Excellent.
Kinsey, you are up against a 14.
Yeah, there's no way.
So you draw out your pistol. Her hands drop down, but like as if in that split second, as her hands go down, she realizes she's not going to beat you to the draw. She leaps to the side, and you have to like kind of like swing your arm to try and keep up with her, and your burst shoots off a little wide as she kind of throws herself down. And at that moment, Sierra lets go of her arrow, and Kinsey, I will need you to roll a dodge test against that.
Sure.
And then I believe we'll jump into initiative. right, Kinsey, you're up against an 11.
Yeah, can't beat that.
What's your highest, though?
Highest is an 8. Well, yes, it's an 8.
Okay, that matters. It takes away one of her net hits that could be counted.
Yes.
So you take 12 damage with 6 armor piercing.
Right.
Don't forget to reduce your toughness from that damage.
Mm-hmm.
So the arrow lets loose, but you kind of like you move right beforehand. So instead of her like shooting you directly in like the head, she hits you clean like in the shoulder as you kind of dart to where Rosa was after missing her with your shot. You get hit in the shoulder. You kind of spin out a little bit, and yeah, I believe. Ooh, you know what? Yeah, I guess let's roll initiative. Let's figure out what the initiative is, and then that's where we're going to end the session.
What? Damn it. Oh, fine.
So the armor piercing doesn't go to the armor points at all, right?
Right. Armor piercing,
Okay.
out of the damage that's left over after your toughness, the armor piercing goes directly to your hit points.
Right.
And then whatever remains goes to your armor. You can also take an injury if you don't want to take the damage. You can negate all of the damage by taking an injury. It would be a class 2 injury for 12 damage unless your toughness is high enough to push it down to a class 1 injury.
Right. I mean, it puts me down to 2 hit points.
Okay, well, what's your armor's toughness?
No, 1. So it's
Okay,
11.
so it's
6
for sure
injuries.
class 2. Yeah, it's for sure
Yeah.
a class 2 injury. But you could take a class 2 injury if you don't want to take the hit point damage.
Look at this class 2 injury. Yeah, I think I will. I am going to take it.
Okay, you take no damage, your armor is unharmed,
Right.
but you do have to roll a d20 and compare it to that class 2 injury chart and tell me what you got.
Good. I got exhausted.
Cool, yeah. So what does that do
It's
mechanically?
-1 to the target number of all your tests.
Okay, cool. So you're just at a blanket -1. As basically the arrow, it splinters against a hard point of your armor, but the force of it like sends a shockwave into you, and basically like the knowledge that Rosa Valantes is still enough shakes you to your core, or is still alive. Shakes you to your core. You stumble up against this wall. That hit from that arrow like bruises you, and you know Rosa's to the right. That woman with her bow is to your left, and you're like, oh no. And you just kind of feel this wave of exhaustion over you, like, am I gonna, after all of this, am I gonna die to the dead man's gang? And that's just gonna give you a -1 as you realize you might be in over your head.
Right, yes, casually.
Yeah. So everyone roll your initiative and let me know what you got. I have many initiatives here.
I do have a quick question.
Yeah.
Did we get grit for surviving a dangerous situation when the backup first rolled into town and they didn't kill us?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. I spend full grit to cowboy up.
Yeah. You can all have a grit from because when Rosa showed up, you were all in danger.
Oh.
And you survived. So you cowboy up, which means you will go at the top of initiative, but you still have an initiative score.
Which is 5.
Which limits how many turns you can have. So Roland is first. Roland at 5. And then Pax, what did you get?
9.
Okay. And Kinsey?
I've forgotten again. Do you roll half the static initiative, or do you roll the static initiative?
You roll the static initiative.
Thank you. Jesus Christ, I'll never remember it. So that's 6.
All right. So with everyone's initiative rolled, there's that moment as that arrow lets loose. Kinsey is alive. Rosa is alive. They're both stumbling from the exchange of gunfire and arrow fire. And Maddie's eyes go wide as he starts reaching for his gun. And Cho is just shocked. And that's where we'll end this session. We'll pick up next week.
Yeah.
I am so stressed out. Wow.
Yeah. Next week we'll start with combat.
Oh, and we can see my new initiative thing that I did for the overlay finally. I did that like a month ago, and we haven't gotten an initiative since. So I'm really excited. Wow. Cool. So thank you everybody for joining us tonight. It was very cool and stressful, at least for me.
Yes.
And thank you for joining us on this crazy adventure so far. Next week we will have some combat, which is dope. So just remember to like and subscribe. And that's over that way. Yeah. And also join me on Friday for GM Styles, where I'm going to talk about some really cool stuff and maybe have a friend on as a special guest. We didn't have any questions in the Kickstarter exclusive Discord this week. So we don't have any questions today, unless you got some questions.
If you got them in the chat, throw them out, right? Now's the time. Who do you think's going to live?
Probably nobody.
It's just going to be a bloodbath. Everyone's going to die. New campaign, everyone. Yeah, so that was an unexpected turn. I am excited though for next week. This is fun. I got all these notes. I got all these initiative tracks. It's fun when you're playing an intrigue campaign for like the eventuality of the shit hitting the fan.
I should have bought a shield.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, for sure. And hey, Kinsey, you're not dead yet, so that's good.
Yay! Just exhausted, you know. That arrow tired me out.
Well, what's your durability score?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's find out.
If you've got 4 grit, I highly recommend cowboying up. I'm not great at combat, but if I go first, I might do something.
My durability is at 4.
Your durability is 4? Alright, so you can take a second wound. Or sorry, a second injury. You can take a second injury. At that point, you are full up on injuries, and you'll have to start taking your damage.
Cool.
But, you know, that's like a useful thing to keep in mind for moving forward. You're so fragile, Kinsey. I didn't realize.
I really am, yes.
Oh, no.
Should get some better armor, probably.
Whoa!
Or spend a point in your durability to give yourself 2 more hit points and that extra injury slot.
Golly.
All right. Any questions coming through?
Did we break the law by any chance?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
You stole a book from a schoolhouse. Not way of breaking the law.
Great.
Do we have any questions in the Kickstarter chat? Otherwise, I think we'll sign off for tonight.
It doesn't look like there's any questions tonight, so I think that's it for us. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next week on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Bye.
Bye.